The misconception that regulatory agencies don't accept continuous manufacturing is just that. It's a misconception. The FDA, MEA, and other global regulators have indicated strong support for this approach when implemented with appropriate controls and monitoring. Let me share a fascinating case study that demonstrates the quality advantages of continuous manufacturing, particularly in handling complex molecules. Welcome back to the Smart Biotech Scientist. I'm your host, David Brühlmann. In our previous episode, we explored the technical foundations of continuous manufacturing for biologics, how it works, the enabling technologies, and early implementation case studies that demonstrate its transformative potential. Today, we're addressing the two most critical questions for any organization considering the transition to continuous processing. Will regulators accept it? And does the economic case study truly stack up? The regulatory landscape for continuous bioprocessing has evolved dramatically in recent years. Far from being an obstacle, agencies like the FDA have become vocal advocates for this approach. We'll unpack the key guidelines and initiatives that are creating a supportive regulatory environment. Then, we'll dive deep into the economics with detailed analyses across different scales and facility types. You'll discover that the greatest cost advantages aren't always where you might expect them to be, and that the business case varies significantly based on your production scale and portfolio strategy. We'll round out our discussion with compelling case studies from University College London and MedImmune that provide real-world data on cost savings, productivity gains, and implementation challenges. Whether you're a process development scientist, a C-level leader, or a biotech founder, this episode will give you the practical insights needed to evaluate if and how continuous manufacturing fits into your company's strategic roadmap. Let's address one of the biggest perceived barriers to implementing continuous manufacturing, the regulatory considerations. Do you worry that regulatory agencies may resist approving continuous processes? Many biotech leaders do so, but the reality is quite different. The FDA has been actively supporting continuous processing for over a decade, becoming a vocal proponent for both small and large molecule drugs. This support, combined with recent regulatory developments, has created a comprehensive framework that makes continuous manufacturing more accessible than ever before. Recent key developments include the supportive U.S. legislation through PDUFA 7 in 2022 and FDORA, which specifically emphasize emerging technologies in pharmaceutical manufacturing and provide pathways for implementation. Then we have Biden's National Biotechnology and Biomanufacturing Initiative in 2022, which promotes advanced manufacturing solutions and encourages industry-wide adoption of innovative technologies. We also have the ICH Guideline Q13 on continuous manufacturing of drug substances and drug products in 2023, accepted by both FDA and MEA, providing comprehensive guidelines for development and commercial production across the entire manufacturing process. And finally, the updated ICH Q9 R1 guideline on quality risk management in January 2025, which addresses supply chain and equipment management to support robust manufacturing processes with specific considerations for continuous processing. These regulatory advances, combined with industry-led initiatives and growing technical expertise, have created a supportive environment for companies considering the transition to continuous manufacturing. From a quality perspective, Continuous manufacturing actually offers several advantages. It offers more consistent product quality due to steady state operation, or should I say semi-steady state operation. I hear some of you saying, well, it's not a real steady state. You are right. It's correctly right. So let's say a semi-steady state operation. And you will see better process control through real-time monitoring. Also reduced risk of batch failures affecting large quantities of product. And finally, an enhanced ability to detect and respond to process deviations. The misconception that regulatory agencies don't accept continuous manufacturing is just that. It's a misconception. The FDA, MEA, and other global regulators have indicated strong support for this approach when implemented with appropriate controls and monitoring. Let me share a fascinating case study that demonstrates the quality advantages of continuous manufacturing, particularly in handling complex molecules. In a study by Gomez and al. At Amgen, the researchers compared traditional fed batch processing with continuous perfusion for producing 3 types of bispecific antibodies, some of the most challenging molecules in our industry. What makes this study particularly compelling is the dramatic improvement in both productivity and product quality. Let me break down the key findings. First, exceptional productivity gains. The perfusion process achieved a 15-fold increase in integrated viable cell density and total harvested product compared to fed batch. The daily volumetric productivity jumped 5-fold. Number 2, remarkable quality improvements. They observed up to 72% reduction in aggregates, 75% decrease in clipped species, and 76% reduction in acidic variants, all critical quality attributes for bispecific antibodies. The third is the process robustness. The continuous process ran successfully for approximately 40 days compared to 12 days for a fed batch, while maintaining consistent product quality. And finally, they observed an improved host cell protein clearance. They achieved up to 84% reduction in host cell proteins, simplifying downstream purification. This case study is particularly relevant because bispecific antibodies are notorious for their complexity and tendency toward physical and chemical degradation. The fact that continuous processing could so dramatically improve their quality profile demonstrates the robust control possible with this approach. The implications for quality assurance and regulatory compliance are clear. Continuous processing isn't just about productivity. It can deliver superior product quality while maintaining consistent operation over extended periods. Transcenta's integrated continuous bioprocessing platform stands as a compelling exemplar of how continuous manufacturing can simultaneously address regulatory requirements while delivering superior quality outcomes. Their innovative continuous perfusion system maintains exceptionally high cell densities and eliminates traditional bottlenecks by removing harvest clarification and product hold steps. What sets their approach apart is the implementation of comprehensive process analytical technology and automated control systems that not only meet but exceed current regulatory expectations for continuous processes. The platform's performance metrics are remarkable, demonstrating an unprecedented 10-fold increase in process output compared to conventional fed batch processes. To put this in perspective, just 4,000-liter single-use bioreactors running in perfusion mode can match the output of 22 2,000-liter single-use or 4 12,500-liter stainless steel bioreactors in fed batch mode. This dramatic intensification doesn't come at the cost of quality. Their chemically defined media strategy at less than 1/10 of the cost of commercial alternatives maintains consistent product quality attributes throughout extended runs. Transcend's risk mitigation strategy is particularly noteworthy for biotech leaders considering similar transitions. Their phased implementation approach, developed in collaboration with Millipore Sigma using the Biocontinuum platform, demonstrates how strategic partnerships can accelerate technology adoption while maintaining quality standards. The initial focus on flow-through polishing systems showcases their commitment to balancing innovation with operational reliability. And from a regulatory compliance perspective, their approach is exemplary. The integration of advanced PAT systems with digital optimization enables real-time product quality monitoring and control. This comprehensive quality management strategy, combined with their closed, highly automated systems, directly addresses key regulatory concerns about process consistency and product quality in continuous manufacturing settings. Last but not least, let's talk about the economics of continuous manufacturing. The bottom line that your executive team cares about most. The financial case for continuous manufacturing is compelling. Let me highlight a few. Number one, capital expenditure reduction through smaller facility footprint. Number two, operating expense advantages from increased resin utilization and reduced buffer consumption. Number three, enhanced facility utilization through higher productivity per square meter or square foot. You will also benefit from a lower product loss risk due to smaller batch sizes and continuous quality monitoring. And finally, you will get a flexibility to respond to market demands without major facility expansions. And of course, there are initial investments required. You need to train staff in continuous processing techniques. There is the implementing advanced process analytical technologies, and you need to develop robust automation and control systems. The BioPlan Associate Survey reveals some interesting spending patterns that tell us where the industry is focusing its resources. Among the top new technologies that companies are allocating budget for are single-use products, 42%, and automation, 40.9%. Meanwhile, continuous bioprocessing investments are still relatively modest at 20.2% for downstream and 17.1% for upstream processes. This spending pattern suggests that while there's clear interest in continuous manufacturing, many organizations are taking a measured approach. First, investing in enabling technologies like single-use systems and automation that can support both batch and continuous operations. It's a pragmatic strategy that allows companies to gradually transition rather than making abrupt changes to establish manufacturing processes. Let's consider a simple comparison. A traditional fed batch monoclonal antibody process might require multiple 2,000-liter bioreactors to produce 500 kilograms annually. The same output could be achieved with a continuous process using bioreactors 4 to 5 times smaller, significantly reducing facility construction costs and ongoing operational expenses. Let me share an economic analysis conducted by researchers at University College London that provides hard numbers on the financial impact of continuous manufacturing for monoclonal antibodies. This comprehensive study by Mahal, Branton, and Farid developed a sophisticated decision-making tool that integrated both manufacturing economics and development costs, something rarely done in previous analyses. What makes their approach particularly valuable is how they captured the trade-offs between potential manufacturing cost savings versus the increased development investment often required for continuous processes. Their findings reveal three compelling economic insights for companies considering the transition to continuous processing. First, they demonstrated that single-use continuous facilities offer the most significant commercial cost savings at annual production demands between 100 to 500 kilograms, where cost of goods reductions of approximately 35% compared to traditional stainless steel fed batch facilities were achievable. However, this advantage diminished at larger scales of 1 to 3 tons, where savings dropped to around 10% or less as multiple parallel continuous trains became necessary. Second, when examining specific process parameters, they found that optimizing perfusion rates, volumetric productivity, and media costs were critical for maximizing the economic benefits of continuous processing. Their sensitivity analysis showed that even with an extensive perfusion media cost of $29 per liter, achieving volumetric productivities above 3.6 grams per liter per day with minimized perfusion rates could deliver cost of goods savings exceeding 20% at commercial scale. Third, and perhaps most relevant for management teams evaluating the business case, they calculated the total project lifecycle costs across both development and commercial manufacturing. While continuous facilities typically required higher development investments up front, with development costs estimated at twice those of batch processes, or fed batch processes, shall I say, the long-term economics still favored continuous manufacturing when considering the total out-of-pocket costs across a product's lifecycle. What I find particularly insightful about this analysis is how it quantifies the exact windows of operation where continuous processing makes financial sense. For smaller biotechs operating at production scales below 500 kilograms annually, the economic case for continuous processing is compelling. For larger organizations with tonnage scale production needs, the decision becomes more nuanced and dependent on specific process performance parameters. This study provides a framework for making informed decisions about continuous manufacturing implementation based on your company's specific scale, portfolio, and capabilities, rather than simply following industry trends. It's precisely the kind of data-driven approach that helps separate the hype from the reality in this rapidly evolving manufacturing paradigm. A compelling real-world implementation comes from a team at MedImmune led by Arnold, Lee, and colleagues who successfully demonstrated a fully integrated continuous process from pilot-scale bioreactor all the way through to drug substance, a significant achievement given that many implementations only address selected unit operations. What makes this study particularly noteworthy is the head-to-head comparison they conducted against the conventional 500-liter fed batch process. Their findings validate many of the theoretical advantages we've discussed today. First, they demonstrated that product quality attributes remain comparable between the continuous and conventional processes, addressing one of the most common regulatory concerns about this manufacturing approach. This equivalence is critical for companies considering the switch, as it suggests that the transition can be made without compromising product characteristics. Second, the productivity improvements were remarkable. Their continuous process generated purified monoclonal antibody at a rate of 1 kilogram every 4 days, representing a 4.6-fold increase in productivity compared to their batch benchmark. This dramatic intensification translates directly into smaller facility footprints and higher throughput from the same manufacturing space. And third, Their economic modeling using Biosolve software provides a compelling cost analysis for facility design. They demonstrated that a traditional fed batch facility utilizing 4 12,500-liter stainless steel bioreactors could be replaced by a continuous facility using 5 2,000 single-use bioreactors with a substantially smaller downstream purification train. The financial impact? Well, it's a 15% reduction in overall manufacturing costs. The financial analysis paints a clear picture. Continuous manufacturing offers compelling economic benefits when implemented strategically. While initial investments in technology and training are necessary, the long-term advantages from reduced facility footprints to lower operating costs make a strong business case for adoption. The UCL and MedUmune case studies demonstrate that with proper planning and execution, continuous manufacturing can deliver substantial cost savings while maintaining product quality. For companies operating at the sweet spot of 100 to 500 kilograms annual production, the potential for 35% cost reductions represent a particularly attractive opportunity. So the key is now taking a data-driven approach to implementation. And I suggest that you carefully evaluate your specific production needs and capacity requirements rather than just following what everybody else is doing. As the economic data shows, continuous manufacturing isn't just about technological advancement. It's about creating sustainable competitive advantages in an increasing demanding market. And these economic advantages explain why nearly 70% of the survey respondents expect to adopt continuous chromatography within 2 years, and why almost 75% anticipate perfusion adoption in most facilities within the next decade. As we wrap up today's episode on continuous manufacturing, let's summarize the key takeaways. The shift from fed batch to continuous processing isn't just inevitable. It's already underway, with market growth projected at over 22% annually, and 72% of facilities expecting to adopt upstream perfusion in the coming years. The second point is that implementation doesn't have to be all or nothing. Many companies are starting with hybrid approaches or implementing continuous processes in specific unit operations. As the BioPlan survey shows, there is a pragmatic focus on enabling technologies like single-use systems and automation as stepping stones toward more continuous operations. The third thing we saw is that regulatory agencies are actively supporting this transition, contrary to common misconceptions. And the economic case is compelling, with potential cost of goods reductions of 20 to 30% and a facility footprint reduction of 50% or more. And finally, yes, challenges remain, particularly in finding qualified staff with continuous bioprocessing expertise and overcoming perceptions about cost and complexity. And it can also take a lot of time and energy to create your digital twins or sophisticated PAT strategies. But as one industry leader puts it, the question isn't if continuous processing will become mainstream, but when. Continuous manufacturing offers the potential to compete more effectively by reducing capital requirements and operating costs while maintaining or even improving product quality. I hope this episode has given you some actionable insights to take back to your teams. What do you think about continuous manufacturing? I'd love to hear from you. You can leave a review on the platform you found us on. This will mean the world to me. Before we go, do you need help to implement continuous bioprocessing in your facility? Well, book a free consultation at Brühlmann Consulting/call. That's BrühlmannConsulting.com/call to explore how we can accelerate your journey to continuous manufacturing. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in biotech. The future of biologics manufacturing is in your hands. I'm David Brühlmann, your host, and you have been listening to the Smart Biotech Scientist. All right, smart scientists. That's all for today on the Smart Biotech Scientist Podcast. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on your journey to bioprocess mastery. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. By doing so, we can empower more scientists like you. For additional bioprocessing tips, visit us at smartbiotechscientist.com. Stay tuned for more inspiring biotech insights in our next episode. Until then, let's continue to smarten up biotech.